Rachel, what do you reckon? I think diners would want an elongated bar.
Oh, sorry, Kochie, that's actually the toilet. It belongs in the bathroom.
Right, I thought it looked a bit funny. We might leave that as a work in progress, I think. Hello and welcome to the program. Today we're going to talk about networking in your business and other alternative ways of public relations. Thinking outside the square in terms of bringing customers along. Now, we're visiting architectural design group Kochies Krell. Rachel is the Kochies, Stuart is the Krell, and Rachel is the whiz networker. Now, Rachel's a whiz. Stuart, what's your problem?
I'm the shrinking wild of the two. Yeah, it doesn't come naturally for me, and my problem is that I find it can be forced.
Mate, we're going to put you through networking boot camp. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, big fella, let's go. Rachel and Stuart set up their interior design company, Kochies Krell, just over a year ago and are keen to promote the business and extend their professional relationships. To help Stuart develop networking skills that work for the business, we've sent in Julia Palmer from BConsulted, a business relationship specialist and the author of Buzz, a networking guide to help people attract, leverage and retain profitable business relationships.
So let's break it down, attract, leverage, retain, with the idea that you're going off to a networking event and there's something that you can apply to it. So attract is very much sitting in that mindset that we need to have prepared so that we're attracting the right people to our networks. And so it is that investment in the time before we actually leave our offices or our homes. So one of the things that I would certainly recommend is that you're very clear on the types of people that you want to meet. But more so, you're very clear on what you want to get out of the event.
I guess what I'd like to achieve personally is have around 5 exchanges with people, I guess, so they're actually quite lengthy rather than just something short and fleeting.
Okay. And I think the thing to bear in mind with this is that if it's a breakfast function, for example, often that's a sit-down speaker, so you've really only got 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
So you might meet 5, but in that you might only have 2 or 3 decent conversations.
Sure.
With a luncheon, mostly sit down again, so you do have to get there early and stay back late to be actually getting those conversations happening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're really at the mercy of who you've been sat next to. Cocktail party, however, you may well get your 5 or 6.
Sure.
And a cocktail party environment suits a lot of people because they are fluid and you're walking around and you've really got full control over the types of people you're meeting. So it's good to actually think about in advance the type of event that suits the style of networking that you're looking to do.
Sure. Yeah.
The other thing that I would advise as well is networking organisations usually are quite proactive with helping you here.
Yeah.
So I'd get in touch with the organisation beforehand and I'd in fact ask to see the list.
Yes.
If you can't see the list, then you want to get there early enough, but I would actually be nominating what table I wanted to sit at.
Okay.
Yeah, so really put that time into, you know, getting to know those organisations, letting them get to know you, and they'll actually help your networking efforts.
Yeah.
If you know, they're proactive networking organisations.
Yeah.
So that's really important, and that's your whole attract side of building profitable business relationships, is getting yourselves into the right rooms.
Okay.
Rachel Kochies and Stuart Krell are working hard to build up their young interior design business and recognise that networking events are a useful way to grow their professional relationships. Julia Palmer, our networking expert, has some tips.
So the next thing that we can look at is how to leverage the relationships. And leverage is all about what you do when you're actually at the event itself. So this involves a lot of the social etiquette. 75% of a person's first impression is actually made of your body language.
Yeah.
So really getting these things right is going to, you know, make sure that you come across really effectively.
Yeah.
So from a body language perspective, what do you think are the 3 most important factors?
Don't cross your arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the closed body language, yeah, that's definitely a don't.
Yeah.
A do? Is it smile?
Yes,
Smiling
smiling.
is good.
Yeah.
I think eye contact is quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eye contact's really interesting because when you get a group dynamic, what you find is that a lot of people only talk to one person. I don't know if you've ever noticed this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's quite frustrating as, you know, if you're one of the people in that group when no one's looking at you.
Absolutely.
If someone asks you a question, you need to give that answer to everybody in the group, and you need to make sure you're very inclusive.
Yeah. That's right.
And the third top one is the good old handshake.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice and firm.
Yeah. So pay attention when you're leveraging relationships to that body language and how you're coming across, and those three key things, the smile, you know, the eye contact and the handshake are really going to help out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just about those great conversations. So steering away from work.
Yeah.
Making sure that people are getting to know you.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you're not defined by your work, you're just defined by...
You.
Yes,
People do
okay.
business with people they like and trust.
And people do business with people, not business.
Yeah, not business cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that whole, here's my card, you know, this is what I do. They will learn that from communicating with you.
Yeah.
And the card exchange, that can happen later, if necessary.
Yeah.
And I want to, of course, touch on one of the most difficult parts for people when they're networking, which is leaving a conversation. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think we're done. No. Just identify that it's ending rather than like kind of just going, well, that's great, see you, bye.
Yeah, definitely mind your mingling manners. and giving a reason for why you're actually departing the conversation is something that a lot of people don't consider. But if you do it effectively, well, why not leave the conversation?
Yeah.
You know, often there are 50, 80, 100 people in the room. People are there to network. And lastly, let's talk about retaining. Because it's one thing to go and find the very best events and find all the people to meet and have these wonderful conversations. But what I'd ask you is, how soon are you following up with these people having met them?
I think once you say it's a Friday night, which sometimes is usually the case for industry nights for Rachel and I, and it's either on the Monday morning or after lunch, because once you're actually putting in that person's details into your email or into your contacts list, that maybe you can shoot off an email at that point just saying, it was very nice to meet you on the night, below are my details. Along those lines.
Yeah.
However, if there's someone that you've met that really is a priority for you, what I'd suggest is that you phone them after that event. So within that 24-hour, 48-hour max period, is actually do something different, because a lot of people email.
Yeah.
And
It's
emails
like
can get lost.
It's like dating. If you really like them, call them within the first 48 hours.
This is, you're creating long-term relationships. It's like getting to a marriage. Yeah,
Don't
it is.
text them, call
them. Yeah, that's perfect.
There are more great networking tips from Julia on our website,